So let's open this up. Let's check out what we got going. So right now I just have this button and some stuff going on. So we'll play with these elements using RxJS and get a feel for some stuff. So what we'll do is, let's just see how we can use RxJS to get the input from this box here, from the value from this box. So what we can do is we'll just save our, let's just make some helpers right quick. Equals documents dot query selector dot bind document. So we'll just do that right quick, and then probably just do this too. Cool. So we'll do that, and then where's that input? Oh, it's just input. Okay, so we'll just save our input. Cool. So then now what we can do is, so in jQuery or even in the DOM, you would do something like, you would say like in regular DOM, add event listener, on key up, and then you're like, oh, it's too fast. I need to add in a throttle. You do all this crazy stuff, right? And then you like, oh, and then I need to make sure I clean up this event to avoid memory leaks, right? So what we're gonna do is RxJS instead. So this time I'm gonna say input stream, and I'm gonna say rx.from event. That's pretty cool. So from event is gonna take an element, in this case, input, and then the event that we want to convert over to a stream, in this case, key up. Boom. So that's gonna create a stream for us. Pretty easy. So it's, it knows about, no, is it rx.observable from event? We'll see. I can't remember. I think that's it. So yeah, it knows about jQuery elements, standard elements. You can even like customize and like do all types of stuff. But by default, it'll do DOM and jQuery elements. So we have the input stream, and then now we'll just say input stream dot, what's the method that we need to call to start getting data? Subscribe, right. So we'll subscribe, and we'll get the event, and we'll just log that event, right? So let's check it out. Boom. So the event's just logging there, and it's coming in, it's flowing. That's way too much. We don't want to do that, because later on we're probably going to turn this into like some real-time, look-ahead server interaction, and we don't want to kill our server. And also, we just don't want the raw event either. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a map in here. So let's map this event. And really, all we want from this event is the event.target.value, right? We just want the value of the input. Or we could just say input.value, however you want to do it. I'm just going to use the event here, though. So we'll return the value. And now, let's look at this. We'll just rechange the name so it's appropriate. It's not input. It's not event anymore. We'll refresh. We'll come back here, and we'll see it's just a value now. All right. So that's what map did. Map took this event and it transformed it into whatever we wanted, which was just a value. Any questions on that? Everybody getting that? Is that connecting the marbles? You like that? Connecting the marbles.
See what you did there.
You like it? Okay. So that's cool, but maybe we only care about values that are greater than 4. Anything less than 4, we don't really care about. So let's put a filter here. And now we have the value. And we're only going to return if the value dot length is greater than 4. All right, so let's check that out. So now if I start typing, oh, nothing. I type one more, nothing. 5, boom. All right, pretty cool. Now, this is awesome, but I only want to do this, I only want to capture the event on some type of debounce, right? Because eventually we're going to tie this into a server and we're going to query some things. So let's do a debounce on this. And what we can do is on this stream, we can say, let's just debounce on What's a good debounce time for input?
500.
500? That's a lot. We'll try that.
You don't want to be
Okay.
necessarily too fast.
All right, that's true. Okay, we don't have Google Enterprise, so 500 will work. We own the Heroku 1 dyno tier, so we might need to put 5,000. No. So we'll debounce it, and we'll see what happens here.
We're sponsored by Heroku.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. we have no sponsors.
Not anymore.
we did. Okay, so let's check it out. So now if I type in 4 things, oh, it's more than 4, but because the debounce is on 5 and I haven't stopped typing yet, it's not going to show up. But then I did, and there it is. Right? Yes.
Wouldn't you put the filter first, which would reduce the traffic through it?
Yeah, I think that's a lot better. Well, actually, we would have to put the map first.
Wouldn't you want your bounce app to be the absolutely first?
Yeah, once you,
Now we want to go back to what we had first, which was the bounce.
just gotta just do whatever you tell them.
Yeah. What'd you say? Take a request, huh? Yeah. You definitely wanted to bounce first so we don't do any other unneeded operations, right? So debounce and then continue with the operations. So now we have that. We're subscribing. Everything is good. Now let's add in some calls to the server. Sounds crazy. I think I have a server. I got like a data.json here. Cool. So we'll try to connect this to the server. What do I have here? Post users. So we have these users. So let's have it to where you can type in a name and it'll return the user with that name, and we'll kind of see where that goes. So how do we do that? First, we need to make a method that's going to call our server. So let's just say get users. And we need to make sure users is going to take in some search term here. So let's just say it's going to take in a name. And then what we're going to do is we're going to return fetch. Everybody know what window.fetch is? All right, if you don't know, I didn't just make this up. This is on the window. So
We're Angular developers. We don't even know what the DOM is.
yeah, so we're going to do window.fetch to HTTP localhost. I'm probably going to put this on 5,000. And the term is going, /users. And name is going to equal name. And then I think for fetch, I need to do some other stuff like headers, content type, application, JSON. I'm not sure if I still have to do that on fetch.
Application spelled out.
Oh, application. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to return that. And then I'm also just going ahead and do this in fetch because I know that if I don't, I'll have to do it later. Fetch is kind of like Angular 2 where you get the response, but all we really want is the JSON. So I'm just going to return the JSON here. There we go. So this is a promise. Get users takes a name and it returns a promise, pretty much. That's really the only important thing here. So we have that. So we're going to filter this over. And then, but before we do this, we kind of want to think about like, we don't want to be like hitting our server with the same thing over and over and over again. So this is a good chance to use distinct until changed. So it means don't even go down here unless it's new and it's changed, right? So now that we have that, distinct and then it's changed, we could use, what's the operator that I want to use here? We can use flat map, and we can pass in the get users. So remember I said flat map is a great way to do other asynchronous things because it's going to, you can think of it as like you have like a matrix and you want to flatten it to one single one-dimensional array. That's what we want to do. Whereas the nested part is actually this promise that it's going to be returned from get users. And I just want to combine it to one stream and not have multiple streams nested inside of each other. Does that make sense? Okay. So flat map is going to receive whatever the value is here. It's going to get it here, and then we're going to subscribe here. So let's just see what the value is. So let's check that out. Let's refresh. Oh, I need to start the server, no? Server 5,000. Oops. JSON server db.json, is that what I called it? Data.json. Cool. JSON server is amazing, by the way. It just literally makes a REST server from a JSON file. It's like, what? Fully RESTful. I mean, you can post, delete, you can do all CRUD on it. It's pretty amazing. All right, so let's type in a user. What users do we have in there? Scott, Bill. I don't like myself that much. I don't know why I put my name in there twice. Let's put.
It's different Scott.
It's another Scott. Yeah. Let's restart the server. Cool. Okay. So now if we type in the name, let's say Scott. Oh, look at that. But before we look at it, let's just go look at the network tab. Definitely made a call. So if we go back and look, we get this object here. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Let's erase this and try again. So what if we type in something, empty array. Totally what we expected. Nothing came back from the array, from the network. Nothing, right? So we type in Bill. Oh, Bill's not gonna work because it's not greater than 4, so. But if I type in Bills, then we get nothing, right? So that's a pretty, I think, practical example of how you would use RxJS. And you can see it's pretty easy to reason about, especially if you've been using like things like Lambda or Lodash or underscore. It's like the same thing, except for it's tied into like an async event stream. At least that's like how I had to rationalize it, because I was just like, I don't know, man. I really like the promises. You know, they've never lied. You know,
They've been good to me. Let's
they've
be
held
honest.
their promises.
We had a good run.
They've never broken their promises. Yes.